And you're proud of it, aren't you?
Anything else, let me know.
Everybody? Okay, good evening, everyone. Please stand for the flag salute and remain standing for the prayer.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing while Councilman Sarah leads us in prayer.
Heavenly Father, as we celebrate this holiday season, help us to be reminded of the many blessings you have placed in our lives. Let us start the new year with a renewed sense of purpose and a great desire to serve, and help us to seek out ways to make life better for those around us. Amen. And could you please remain standing for a moment of silence? I'd like a moment of silence for Bob Burns, who was a great radio talk show host. And a moment of silence for Sal Lizzo. He served our community proudly as a member of the Lions Club. Thank you.
Thank you, Vince. To advise, the meeting notices covering this meeting have been sent and posted as required under the Open Public Meetings Act. The meeting actually started at 5:30 when we went into executive session, and at this time our solicitor will comment on the topics that were discussed in executive session.
In executive session, Mayor and City Council discussed certain matters of litigation. Specifically, there is ongoing litigation between the municipality and the operators of the Seagull Motel. My office provided an update. That update indicated that the judge has now signed the order that was negotiated at the last court proceeding. Among the provisions in that order is that the building will be vacated by January 5 of 2019, that relocation assistance will be paid by the City of Brigantine to certain tenants, and that a lien in favor of the city will be placed upon the property as reimbursement for such relocation assistance. That information has been provided to Council. Additional details will be made available as we move forward. In regard to a separate piece of litigation, the City Manager gave an update in regard to the COA suit and the settlement of that litigation. As part of that settlement, the municipality was to enter into a contract with the Volunteers of America for construction of certain housing in the city. The manager indicated that the contract has been signed and gave an update on efforts to identify an appropriate site. Additional information will be made available as this matter moves forward. In regard to personnel, Council discussed the appointment of Roxanne Tosta as the Deputy City Manager. This matter will be considered this evening with a potential voice vote for such appointment. This matter will then be followed with the negotiation of an appropriate contract. Other personnel matters included a report from the manager that Lisa Hottie has been appointed as a part-time clerk. In regard to contracts, it was been advised that there is a shared service agreement with Galloway Township dealing with the services of a purchasing agent that is now about to be renewed. Additional information in this matter is available this evening as Council considers Resolution 2018-223. Mr. Mayor, I believe that was the entirety of it.
Thank you, Mr. Cerny. At this time, we also need to approve our minutes, so we need the approval of the 12/5 council meetings and the executive session minutes. Do we have a motion and a second, please?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, can we have roll call, please?
View,
Yes.
Reardon,
Yes.
Haney,
Yes.
Jalukri,
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
Simpson,
Yes.
Mayor Gunther.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Next, we move to the approval of payroll, the requisition list, and miscellaneous operating expenses. Can we have a motion and second, please?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Okay, seeing none, can we have roll call, please?
View,
Yes.
Reardon,
Yes.
Haney,
Yes.
Jalukri,
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
Simpson,
Yes.
Mayor Gunther.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, at this time, it is my pleasure to introduce the Elks. The Exalted Ruler Don Irons is here along with the Elks leadership team. and they are going to be making a donation of a community AED. Don?
Mayor Gunther, all of council, I'm very, very humbled and proud to stand here as exalted ruler of one of the strongest service organizations on the island, and that's Brigantine Elks. I stand here, I get the credit for what I'm about to do, but without the people that I would like you to acknowledge, none of this is possible. I'm going to start off with Harry F. McGarrigle, the founder of our lodge. Harry F. McGarrigle III. Paul Consorti, who is on our Board of Trustees, and trust me when I tell you he's very strong with our finances to keep us in line. Tom Panthalina, he is our loyal knight. He just became an officer this year, so I felt it important that everyone get to know Tom. Rich Poole is the second in command from the Exalted Ruler. He's the leading knight, and hopefully he's going to be the Exalted Ruler next year. Tom Palucci, he's hiding somewhere. He's here. Tom is also on the Board of Directors, okay? It takes a lot of effort. I'm sorry? Don Swack, you're so small I couldn't see you. Don Swack, as you all know, is our lodge photographer, but he's also our lodge tiler, and he's very, very strong into the drug awareness program. So if you ever have any ideas, get a hold of Don, and he'll help you secure the funding or help with the program that you have in mind. Don Swack, say hi. All right. Now, we have to qualify for grant money, and the only way we do that is through the support of all 1,200 members. Once we qualify, we have to submit a proposal to Grand Lodge, which is out in Chicago. And I'm not very good at writing or speaking. So we found this person. Stand up, please. This is our grant writer, and her name is Dr.
Karen.
Karen Keller. I'm sorry. I told you I'm not good at speaking, guys. I also want to acknowledge someone else real quick. When I came up with the idea that I wanted to do something for the city, I went to my friend Lynn Sweeney, who I think is one of the strongest people you have in your organization. And she says, Don, why don't we get a hold of the fire department or police department, see if they can come up with an idea. And then I met Tiger Platt. So this is what we're about to do. Will you bring the check over, please, Rich? I asked him for ideas on what we could do as an organization. And Tiger's suggestion was that we purchase 2 defibrillators, one for each end of the island. And I bought into that. I went back to the lodge and I said, guys, what do we think? So Tiger gets his wish, and it is my honor to present a check for $2,063. The grant was only for $2,000, but we made up the difference. And of course, they made up the difference. My finance guy's back here, not me. So it is my honor to present Tiger. Thank you. Thank you. Well, you go away. Now, on a personal note, I must acknowledge what happened to me today. Tiger, please don't go away.
Put this down.
All right.
See if it bounces. That's good.
My partner and I had an incident where we got stuck on my lift, and my partner started to have an anxiety attack, and this fire department that we have here, under his leadership, is outstanding. They got him off, they sat in the lift with him until they could get it fixed, and they got him out and they calmed him down. For that, Tiger, thank your guys for me, please. And that's all the praise you're getting from me tonight.
You can thank the guys. You guys stand up. The shift that was there is here, right now. Don, I can't take the credit for coming up with the idea. Captain Daly in the back was the one that kind of spearheaded this, because we've been doing community AEDs for a while, and we're going to lead into... Oh, no. So, but I just want to say that this is a team effort, you know, with the fire department. This, you know, I can't take the credit for this because other people were involved, and but we can't thank you enough for this. And having 2 more AEDs on the street is phenomenal. And I'd like my shift, Bravo platoon, that's working today. I'd like them to get in this photo op as well, if you don't mind.
Oh, you got a long sleeve shirt. That's what it is. Thank you, Joe. Thank you. Hey, Greg.
Mike, you moving over? Come on, Rick.
Good work. Congratulations. Thank you.
Packer, you want to have these guys stay up here for just a moment?
Yeah, they can all stay.
We can...
I know they don't want to stay.
I know, but we'll have them stay because you now have a special recognition to do. Recognition of former Fire Chief Jim Hall, and the designation of Brigantine as a heart-safe community, and we know it was through his efforts that we are where we are today. So I'm going to turn it over to Chief Platt.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like Alice Hall, Jim's mother, to please come up. So I'm going to also turn the microphone over to somebody who has put a lot of time and energy into making this happen tonight, and worked very close with Jim 15 years ago when he was hired, and kept pursuing what Jim's vision was. So I'm going to turn it over to Captain Daly, because he's been boots on the ground working on this and making it happen. So, Captain.
All right, so I brought up a little bit of the cheat sheet just because I know that Chief Jim Hall wouldn't let me get away with making some mistakes here. So, got a little bit of a, try and be short or brief. So basically, heart disease and cardiac arrest is the leading cause of death in the United States. That's just, it's a fact. That's where we're at here in the United States. Chief Hall recognized this, and for those of you who don't know him, he had an enormous impact on the city of Brigantine and the Brigantine Fire Department. I would be up here for hours if I had to run down his accolades and accomplishments. He really was a tremendous man and did a tremendous amount for the city. Unfortunately, the one accomplishment he couldn't see to fruition was making the city of Brigantine a heart-safe community. And he was very passionate about that. Chief Hall was trained as a nurse, paramedic, and EMT. He had a distinguished member of the United States Air Force. These disciplines gave him a unique perspective on the EMS system as a whole. And he was really able to step outside the box of just where we're at and what we do here, and look at what we can do better and how we can affect cardiac arrest in the community and how we can do a better job. Particularly, he had a vision for how we can advance out-of-hospital cardiac arrest survival rates here in the community. First, he aligned the Brigantine City Fire Department with making everyone an EMT. So he trained everyone in EMT, got ambulances for the city, and that's where we are today, is everyone's trained in EMS as well as firefighting. That was an important component in making the city a heart-safe community. He sought out a medical director, and we were one of the first fire departments in the state to carry AEDs and use them on the streets. From there, he realized that one department couldn't do this alone. He turned to other public safety departments and also to the community. He ran numerous CPR and AED courses throughout the community. He also provided the first 2 public accessible AEDs in the community. One's right out here in City Hall, and the other one is at the police operations. Those are our first 2 AEDs. And with the help of the Elks here tonight and their contribution of 2 more AEDs, we're going to have 19 publicly accessible AEDs currently today. So his vision was well ahead of his time, and his contribution, list of contributions go on and on. But it's been approximately 15 years of work past that point to get us to where we are today. So what is the HeartSafe community, just backing up? It's a total systematic approach to increase cardiac arrest survivability in the community. It's a commitment to follow the American Heart Association's recommendations, which are supporting the AHA's chain of survival, widespread CPR instruction, public access to AEDs, which we just talked about, aggressive resuscitation protocols, so we have a new medical director, and the way we do CPR today is vastly different than how we did even when I first got hired. We coordinate with ALS from Atlantic City, and also definitive care with hospitals and follow-up and post-care. So these people that survive cardiac arrest are now getting cardiac rehab and surviving for years and years. Personally, and as a department and as a community, we've done a lot of other things, like educated hundreds of members of the community in CPR and AED, and we still do so with the help of the Education and Recreation Department. We've also trained numerous teachers and staff to basically get well ahead of what Janet's Law states is required. So we have well over what's required to have staff and teachers trained in CPR and AED use. When someone calls 911 in here in Brigantine, they get emergency medical dispatchers, and all these dispatchers are trained to recognize cardiac arrest, help the individual who's calling recognize, and act, whether that's dispatch or they provide on-scene instruction for CPR. The police department also has all of its members trained in CPR and AED use, and often they arrive first, and they may begin CPR and AED use when they arrive. The fire department's adopted the best practices of out-of-hospital cardiac arrest resuscitation, and we currently send an engine and an ambulance to all cardiac arrest calls. So 6 members are there within minutes, and they begin what's called hit-through CPR. And sometimes we can end up doing CPR for upwards of an hour on scene. And survival rates have shown that this is the best way to do CPR. So what's the future hold? It's exciting because what we've been doing is working. We have living proof here on the island of people that are going home with no neurological deficit. They're going home intact, as they were the day before they had their incident. And that's incredible. It's a very achievable goal now. More community stakeholders like the Elks here and what they're doing tonight are encouraged to help with this program to supply AED supplies, AEDs themselves, have their workplaces come out and look for education, where we can come out and provide education for you guys at no cost. And then also we want to be proactive with things like exercise and health-conscious things on the island. That's what the future holds. So in essence, I want to thank Council for the commitment and also for designating Brigantine as a HeartSafe community. I want to thank Mrs. Hull and Chief Hull, because without his commitment, dedication, and his vision, we wouldn't be here today, and personally as a mentor to myself. And we wouldn't achieve this without him. So thank you all very much.
On behalf of Council, I want to thank the Brigantine Elks for their generosity and also recognize the great work that is done by our fire department each and every day. We have had several members of our community who have been saved by the fire department. Some of them have even come back here to Council to thank the members of the department who did just an outstanding job using They're training the latest techniques and the latest equipment to bring them back and to make sure that we're ready for whatever comes our way in the future. And as you can see by the presentation that was made tonight, it was because of the vision of Jim Hall and what has been carried on under Chief Platt and all the members of the fire department just doing an outstanding job. And I know everyone in Brigantine feels confident, and they feel that our public safety departments are second to none. And without a doubt, we're very proud of what you have done and what you will continue to do. So we're going to, at this time, the recognition of a heart-safe community. We have Resolution 2018-221. And to recognize and designate the City of Brigantine as a heart-safe community based on the American Heart Association guidelines and recommendations, and whereas the City of Brigantine recognizes sudden cardiac arrest as the leading cause of death in the United States, and whereas the City of Brigantine is dedicated to protect and empower its residents in combating sudden cardiac arrest through guidelines put forth by the American Heart Association, and whereas the Heart Safe designation recognizes the community's efforts to prepare responders and citizens to recognize when someone suffers a sudden cardiac arrest and how to respond, and whereas the primary mission of designating Brigantine as a heart-safe community is to support the American Heart Association's chain of survival through increasing public awareness, increasing the public access to AEDs and defibrillators, all public safety and first responders, to also have rapid access to AEDs, emergency medical dispatch with pre-arrival CPR instruction by bystanders, widespread CPR instruction and high-performance CPR, basic life support efforts in coordination with the ALS Intercept, and definitive care and post-cardiac assessment arrest treatment, supportive cardiac preventative care and support for survivors and families, and to collect and analyze data on out-of-hospital cardiac arrest utilizing the CARES registry. Whereas City of Brigantine recognizes that the public safety departments have incorporated these processes into their operations and have reached their minimum goals to be designated as a heart-safe community, whereas the City of Brigantine recognizes the efforts of the public safety departments and the citizens of Brigantine and is committed to supporting their efforts in reducing death from sudden cardiac arrest in the community. Now therefore be it resolved that the City Council of Brigantine formally approves and grants the designation of a heart-safe community to the City of Brigantine. We have a motion and a second, please.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
I'll certainly say something on this one here. The overall life-saving efforts from all of you guys on the fire department, Brigantine's bravest, is just tremendous, because it's not just the life you're saving, but it's the overall effect it has on the person's families and friends and relatives all throughout Brigantine and elsewhere. And we've seen that this year, especially saving Rip's life and the little boy on the beach during the summer and the other numerous calls that you've gotten and received. So it's just, you cannot measure what you guys do. And I personally want to thank all of you, and it's tremendous. So thank you.
If I could add to what Mike said, and I agree with Mike 100% on that. I'm also very appreciative of the fact that the department, and specifically Captain Daly, recognized and told us about the efforts that former Chief Hall made, and that the department's keeping those efforts alive and building on them, because it's a tremendously important initiative and it does benefit the town in so many ways. And it's always good to see that institutionally, you know, something like that gets off the ground and then future generations keep it alive. So thank you.
And just further coordinating with that a little bit, with the ELS members that were just here and the AEDs that they mentioned that they're going to contribute to such a wonderful organization. It really looks out for our community, and they're really here to help everybody and anybody. Mike and I both spent a good bit of time cooking there, and just all the money that they raised through the Bay Fest and the clam bake and everything else. I mean, it really is, we're just very blessed to have such a great organization to help us out with things like this.
Okay.
I'd actually like to add something too. And I think it's absolutely amazing the partnership that we have between actually a lot of our city departments and the community and our service organizations. And it's one of the things that really makes Brigantine great. And I can tell you, as all of us are out in the community, there are so many great stories that we hear, especially about the fire department, the impact that you have on people's lives. And oftentimes people aren't really sure the value that the fire department provides until you show up at the absolute worst moment in their lives and you change their lives forever. And I hear that story over and over again, and it's something that can never be thanked enough. So it's, we see a lot of differences that all of our city departments make. But I think especially for the fire department, with the efforts that you make in keeping people alive and changing people's lives, and even the little details and the kindness that you show people when you show up. And I think that goes a long way, and it speaks to the character that we have from our fire department and from the city at large. So thank you.
I got a story about an AED. I think the first time it was ever used in Brigantine, at least with the police department at the time. My friend Franny McKenna and I were leaving the Pirates Den, and there was a gentleman on the ground, and he actually came in front of council a couple months later, and you guys recognized him. But Franny jumped into action. Guy was on the ground, fell off his bicycle, and a massive heart attack. He was dead. I mean, dead. Franny was doing CPR on him, and the police officer pulled up and then pulled out the AED and saved his life. And I think was the first. And I believe Lieutenant McKenna at the time got a commendation from the county and the city on and the fire department on saving that gentleman's life. And I know that gentleman was certainly glad the AED was available at that time, because CPR wasn't going to be able to do it all. So that was a little story that I had and I experienced with a friend of mine. Were you the cop?
I was. Frank Hewitt.
Okay. Oh yeah, it was Frank Hewitt, yeah.
Okay, any other comments? All right, seeing none, can we have roll call, please?
You? Yes.
Reardon.
Absolutely.
Haney.
Yes.
DeLucre.
Yes.
Sarah.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Mayor Gunther.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, at this time, we open up public comment for comment on agenda items. So if anybody wants to speak on any of the agenda items, please step forward, use the microphone, and state your name and address for the record.
I told all them guys were coming up.
Okay, seeing no public comment on agenda items, we're going to move into our resolutions. Resolution 2018-222 is a transfer resolution. New Jersey statutes provide for appropriate transfers during the last 2 months of the fiscal year, and it's determined that it is necessary to expend for any of the purposes specified in the budget and an amount in excess of the sum appropriated. Therefore, when it has been further determined that there is an excess in any appropriation over and above the amount deemed to be necessary to fulfill the purposes of such appropriations. So we are transferring $102,600 from various accounts to other accounts within the city of Brigantine. Can I have a motion and a second, please?
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, can we have a roll call, please?
You.
Yes.
Reardon.
Yes.
Haney.
Yes.
DeLucre.
Yes.
Sarah.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Mayor Gunther.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Resolution 2018-223, authorizing a shared service agreement with Galloway Township for purchasing agent consulting. Can I have a motion and a second, please?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, can we have roll call, please?
You.
Yes.
Reardon.
Yes.
Haney.
Yes.
DeLucre.
Yes.
Sarah.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Mayor Gunther.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, Resolution 2018-224 is a risk management consultant for the Atlantic County Joint Insurance Fund, Municipal Joint Insurance Fund. This is to designate Eugene Syracusa of the Syracusa Insurance Agency as our risk management consultant. Could I have a motion and a second, please?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
Yeah, I have one question. In this form of agreement that accompanies our materials, it looks like a standard form agreement, it notes that the payment is to be no more than 6% of our gross assessment. Do we have a ballpark on what that's cost us in the past or what that would cost us this coming year?
I don't have those figures available for you, Councilman, but I can get them for you by tomorrow.
Okay, well, what time tomorrow?
10 o'clock?
I know, too.
And you know what, we put it as 3%.
It's 3%.
They send us the contract, we always change it and make it 3%, not 6%.
It's 3% in the resolution, so it just have to make the contract consistent. Okay, any further discussion? Okay, seeing none, can we have a roll call, please?
View.
Yes.
Reardon.
Yes.
Haney.
Yes.
Jalukri.
Yes.
Sarah.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Mayor Gunther.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, Resolution 2018-225, authorizing submission of a strategic plan for the Municipal Alliance Grant. Can I have a motion second, please?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, can we have roll call?
View.
Yes.
Reardon.
Yes.
Haney.
Yes.
Jalukri.
Yes.
Sarah.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Mayor Gunther.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, Resolution 2018-226, the council meeting dates for 2019. We have a motion and second, please.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Could we have roll call?
View.
Yes.
Reardon.
Yes.
Haney.
Yes.
Jalukri.
Yes.
Sarah.
Yes.
Yes.
Simpson. Mayor Gunther.
Yes.
Motion carries.
What are you saying yes for?
We have to have meetings. I won't be here, but you guys will carry on. Okay, next is we have Resolution 2018-227, it's a CER refund. Can we have a motion second, please?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Any discussion?
Do you have the guts to get by him?
I was too late. Could we have roll call, please?
View.
Yes.
Reardon.
Yes.
Haney.
Yes.
Jalukri.
Yes.
Sarah.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Mayor Gunther.
Yes.
Motion carries.
And 228 is the CER refund as well. Can we have a motion second?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Could we have roll call, please?
View.
Yes.
Reardon.
Yes.
Yes.
Haney.
Yes.
Jalukri.
Yes.
Sarah.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Mayor Gunther.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, Resolution 2018-229 is authorizing the dune maintenance permits. We have a motion second, please?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
Yeah, one question. I see one of our three persons for whom we're going to issue permits is for property located on the bay side of Ocean Avenue, separated from the dune by the right-of-way of Ocean Avenue and then by some parking spaces that the city maintains. Does anybody else in the city, either one of the parking lot users or myself or neighbors or anyone else, have the right to cancel out this one single property owner's right to control what grows in the dunes at that location?
I'm not really sure.
The answer to that is no, Jim. You don't have to...
I'm not really sure I understand the question.
Well, the question has been, before you became manager,
Right.
the question I've asked and have not yet heard answered. Actually, two questions. One, what is the public interest in any of these permits? And two, how is it that we think we can give one individual property owner the right to do in the public dune field what they choose to do and not give that same right to others to say, leave it as it is? So I want to cast my vote as leave it as it is, but apparently I don't get a vote on this.
Fair enough. I can't give you an answer to that, Councilman. That's probably above my pay grade. I can only respond to what we have in front of us here based on the ordinance and based on my conversations that I've had with
Mr. Thistle, I recommended this go forward to council.
Fair enough.
Okay, any further discussion? Could we have roll call, please?
You,
Yes.
Reardon,
Yes.
Haney,
I live near one of these noted properties, so abstain.
DeLucre,
I'm going to go with a no on this one.
Sarah,
Yes.
Simpson,
Yes.
Mayor Gunther,
Yes.
motion carries.
Okay, I'm going to ask that we have a resolution, a voice resolution appointing Roxanne Testo as the Deputy City Manager and Chief Financial Officer in the City of Brigantine. Any other terms that we need in this resolution? The salary, Mr. Bennett?
The salary is covered in the ordinance, and the position itself is covered in the ordinance
And
already.
the contract will be...
Forthcoming.
Okay. So we have a motion and a second, please?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Okay, seeing none, could we have roll call, please?
You,
Yes.
Reardon,
Yes.
Haney,
Yes.
DeLucre,
With the understanding that the contract form will come back to council for consideration and approval, yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
Simpson,
Yes.
Mayor Gunther,
Yes.
motion carries.
Okay, are there any council manager committee discussions? It's good? Okay. This time, open the meeting for public comment. Yes, Bob?
Bob Gargiulo, 47 Hill Road, Brigantine, New Jersey. I won't take much of your time, I know. Excuse me, probably one of the shortest meetings I've ever been to here. I'm here on a sad note, and it's about our veterans. Little recap, as you know, the Brigantine Elks Veterans Committee, which I'm a member of, and the Elks Lodge, along with other lodges in the state, and I can't speak for them, bring our vets here from the memorial homes several times a year for different events. They come in their buses, usually 3 bus loads of veterans. God willing, they're able to come to our events. 2 Saturdays ago, we had the Army-Navy game. We were anticipating 100 vets. We prepped and cooked for 100 vets. We had everything from the Legion Riders, everybody in town. I mean, it was amazing, the participation we got from everybody, the police department, the fire department. And we were standing there, and bus 1 pulled in, and I turned around and I said, well, wait a minute, where's bus 2? Where's bus 3? So I started getting a little concerned that they weren't here, and I kind of inquired a little bit, and you understand the people that drove the buses and the aides, they didn't really know much. They said, well, we heard there's some cuts. So immediately I said something to Phil, and members of the council were there, and Phil in his professionalism, because me, I would have went off, and Phil said, listen, let me call Chris Brown's office Monday, and I'll get back to you. And he tried to get to me on Monday afternoon or Tuesday morning. I missed his call, so I talked to Phil on the phone. I verified with Chris Brown's office, and then I also got verification from a Cape May Democrat Assemblyman down there that in this budget, 2018-19, the governor cut $2 million from the Veterans Transportation Memorial Home Fund. That money is used to transport veterans to doctors' facilities, treatment centers, but it's also used to get these people to these events which we sponsor. So now, instead of being able to take anybody that's willing and able to come to our events, they'll have to selectively choose who's going to go. This is appalling, it's disgusting, and I don't care what side of the aisle somebody sits, if you're not appalled by this, I'm sorry, you're not a patriot, and you're not an American. $2 million they took in the July budget, and I got it right here, the budget analysis sheet that I printed out and went through and highlighted. We went out there on Harry Hurley. I've been on a radio show in South Jersey on Saturday. I put my phone number and email. We're not done with this. This is disgusting and it's appalling what this legislature and this governor has done to our veterans in these memorial homes. So our crusade now is to get the head of every lodge. We're going right to the Grand Lodge. There's over 34,000 lodge members in this state. That's 34,000 votes. We're starting from the grassroots efforts. I don't want to hear, oh, we'll do it in next year's budget. No. We want this overturned. We want this money restored now. We have events coming up in the spring. These guys and girls need to get to these locations. And now, because of these cuts, they're having to scale back going to good events. Every year we take them to the Link for the Eagles training camp. If you haven't been there, I went this year, you wouldn't believe the joy that these people have getting out of the memorial homes and going. These are our veterans. And it's disgusting what they're doing in this state to these people. So I talked to Phil on the phone about it. We're going to keep going. Tomorrow night I have a meeting with the American Legion Grand Lodge in Summers Point. Councilman James Toto has been 100% supportive, and I've had contact with other people. But we're not going to let this go. We just want to let council know from the lodge, and I did talk to Rich Pools and some lodge members, we're going to be tackling this from our lodge perspective. I did talk to Bev down at the V. They're going to be handling it from the V, and tomorrow night I'm meeting with the Legion. I just think the amount of support that this community gives to our veterans on a regular basis to have now these funds cut. And then when I inquired about where it went, I was told, well, it went into the general fund. Well, we know what happened in sometime late fall, that a $2 million legal fund was set up for illegals. Now, I'm not saying that's where the money went, but it just so happens it was $2 million from here and $2 million there. The bottom line is the money was taken. And I think it's just appalling that this was done, and I wanted to bring it to the city's attention and everybody else that's listening to
Bob,
you tonight.
and I appreciate your work on this and you following up on this. I know you have a son who serves in the military. So we would like to be, I think, the first community to do a resolution. Now, we'll do a voice resolution tonight, and we'll ask our solicitor to develop a written resolution that hopefully you can pass on to other communities, encouraging them to do the same, and that is to restore the funding for veterans transportation to the Vineland Memorial Home immediately. And in that resolution, of course, we're going to include a description of why that is so important to our veterans, but also it's so important to us as a community that goes out of its way, and the Elks leading that charge to recognize the veterans. And you had veterans there, and I've been to the events over the years. You had veterans there from World War II on. And that day, you make them feel special. And you recognize their service, and they enjoy coming here. They enjoy the camaraderie. They enjoy the company of other veterans who they meet from our community, who join them on that day and thank them for their service. And the Legion Riders and the police and fire department, that moment is so special for them to participate in. I know they look forward to it. They're here twice a year at least for those types of events. So we'll do a voice resolution tonight, and then we'll ask our solicitor to craft something. As a veteran, I know he would certainly take on that task willingly, and we'll do the first one here, and then you can pass it on to the other communities to have them sign off on it. When we do a resolution like this, it is sent to our legislative team, it's sent to our governor, and it's sent to every community in Atlantic County so that they do a similar resolution supporting this cause.
Great. Well, I appreciate your help. Thank you. We got to do it for these people. We've got to get this in reverse. We've got to get the money. We've got to move forward and make sure this doesn't happen in next year's budget and the following year's budget for these people.
Bob, I can say, speak for most of us, that six of us were there at the Elks the other day, and we were a little surprised that the other buses didn't show up. And I'd like to, if possible, take it a step further, because it is revolting the way they cut that funding to the Veterans Transport Fund in Vineland. But I'd like to take it a step further, if it's possible, to restore that funding and to stop any future cuts to veterans funding, whether it's health, medical, housing, or anything else pertaining to veterans. No more cuts to veterans funding.
Great, thank you. I mean, somebody had mentioned, well, we got events coming up, maybe we should do a fundraiser. The lodge has the money to pay for the transportation. If we have to, we will. But I'm not going to enable this governor and this legislator to now throw it back on us because they cut the money. Because then they'll just keep doing it. We'll do it if we have to. And they've already told me we got the funds to pay for the transportation. That's not the point. The point is exactly what you said. Stop the cuts to the vets.
You're absolutely right. This is a fundamental responsibility that the state has, to take care of those who have served. So. And I agree with you wholeheartedly. I know the Elks are so generous they would do whatever they can, but this is something that the state should do, and it should be known that they've made this cut and that the people in New Jersey, people in Brigantine are upset about it.
Well, again, thank you, and I look forward
Thank
to
you,
the resolution.
Paul.
Thanks for your help.
Also,
Thanks, sir.
thanks for your attention to this matter and all your efforts. And it's mind-boggling in the state in which we live in New Jersey. We're one of the very, as far as taxes go, we are one of the top states as far as taxes, and the fact that this could happen is beyond sad. So something needs to be done about it.
Good. Well, thank you. Hope it will make a difference. Thanks.
Thanks, Bob.
So we need a motion?
I'll make that motion.
We need a motion for the resolution to express our displeasure with the cuts to Veterans Transportation Fund and to express our strong support that no further cuts are made to any veterans programs in the state of New Jersey.
I'll second that.
Could we have roll call, please?
You,
Absolutely.
Reardon,
Yes.
Haney,
Yes.
DeLucre,
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
Simpson,
Yes.
Mayor Gunther.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Any other public comment? Frank?
Frank and Jenny, I live at 605 West Shore Drive here in Brigantine. Top what Bob just said. We also had it was the Vinelands home, and it came with a one bus. We were lucky to get the South Haven home, where the veterans are disabled, and now there's a new one in Northfield, which we hope you get to come to our events too. So if you at least can mention all three of them. So I
Absolutely.
really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Frank.
And I think too, Frank, one of the important things we need to let the state legislature know, especially our local legislators, is that veterans are a priority. You know, when they're up there and they're negotiating and they're fighting over budget dollars, one of the things that people have to understand is that we wouldn't have the country that we have today if it wasn't for the sacrifice and the dedication of those people who served. And we need to always honor and respect them, and that message needs to be sent very clearly. So I'm very proud of this council to be one of the first communities to move this resolution forward. Absolutely. Yeah.
Thank you, Frank. Paul?
Paul Lettieri, 206 13th Street North. I'm also the Vice President of Legion Riders, and I'm going to take this information back to them. I know they're very appreciative of what you guys are doing here tonight, and we totally support it. We support all the veteran organizations here in Brigantine, and we're always available. And thank you.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you for your service. Okay, any other public comment?
Kathy Rashiel, 1301 Ocean Avenue. A number of people have expressed concerns about not being able to access these meetings on Comcast for quite a while now, and I was wondering if there's any progress on that. For, you know, the public in Brigantine needs to be able to access what's going on at these meetings.
We've had some issues broadcasting occasionally, but it's working tonight on Comcast, as far as we know.
It's on now? All right, good, thank you. All right, thank you.
Okay, any further public comment? All right, seeing none, any council comments?
All right, here we go.
There we go.
Phil, the past 4 years, it's been an honor and a privilege for me to sit here next to you and listen to you address the concerns of our citizens with your vast knowledge of government and infrastructure and finance. You're an amazing, eloquent man who has been the best thing ever to happen to this island. Words cannot express how much I admire you, and thank you for your dedication to making Brigantine the island we all love for life. Andy, you have some big shoes to fill.
14. 15.
But I know that Phil has taught you well, and that together we can all continue to move Brigantine forward.
Thank you, Karen.
Okay.
God help you.
For the Polar Bear Plunge is January 1st. And we invite everybody here and at home to come on out January 1st and join us all at the Polar Bear Plunge. And of course, Phil, I've just been honored to work with you the last couple of years. Phil and Leanne were two of the first people we met when we moved to the island. I've told this story before. When Jerry and I got married in '94, Phil and Leanne were part of the Free Cana team, and they did a good job. We're still married, so. And since that time, just everything, Phil, that you've done for so many people, and especially during Sandy was the pinnacle of your hard work and efforts and what you did during that time and afterwards. And despite what some people say, we know you were here the whole time. And you were here after and helping and providing that help. We all appreciate it. And I guess the last thing I'll say is that even when you're out of office next week, you may not be our official mayor, but you will always be our mayor. So, thank you.
Thank you, Mike.
And we all have your phone number, too.
You do. And still the same.
Phil, I'd also just like to say thanks for the memories and all the just wonderful things you've done over the years. That old song, thanks, just truly thanks for the memories. I mean, they've just been wonderful ones, and we could stay here, we could sit here for a long time and just go on and on. Back like those old days, those council meetings, maybe we could stay till 1 a.m. and just talk about it, And I just want to say that what a pleasure it's been. And the other day, I think Vince was on the Scott Cronick show, and he referred to you as Mr. Brigantine, which I thought was like pretty apropos, and I'd just like to maybe add to that many of us at the same time also look at you as like the face of Brigantine, and I think we'll always look at it that way with just every single event, your dedication just being at so many things. I mean, it's just uncanny. I mean, it's just amazing. So like Karen said, Andy's going to have some tough shoes to fill. He's going to have a busy schedule. So thank you again.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
I guess we'll do this in order.
Duck.
Phil? Phil and I actually have the longest council relationship presently of anyone up here. It's been just a bit over 7 years. How many years does that feel like to you?
12 years.
Those who have watched, attended, listened to our council meetings realize that Phil and I have not always agreed on everything. Half a dozen or more, maybe, times. We've disagreed on things, and sometimes pretty spectacularly. But that's here. It's here, and it stays here. When it's over, it's over. Outside of here, I can say with absolute certainty that, Phil, you've always conducted yourself professionally, with dignity and with class. You've represented the city tremendously well, and that you understood and you exhibited an understanding of the role of city council with respect to the people in the town, the role of the city government with respect to the many other agencies and entities that we have to deal with, and the complications that creates. And you're a person who wanted to find solutions. Now, solutions maybe didn't always match up with my solutions, but again, that's here, and that doesn't matter. So, we're going to miss you. I'm not going to use the cliches about big shoes to fill or anything like that. But, people would do well to go to school on the way you conducted yourself as mayor.
Thank you, Rick. I appreciate that, and I've enjoyed, believe it or not,
I don't. Go ahead.
our debates over the years. Thank you.
Bill, as I've said before, it has been an absolute honor to serve with you. You have to be probably one of the greatest people I've ever known. You've been an incredible mentor to me in so many ways, and I can tell you that your professionalism, your kindness, and your patience, you embody everything that is good and great about public service. And I've really learned that being in this position is more than holding a title. It's about being a part of the community, and I think not only do you preach that and talk about that, but you have lived that the last 28 years of your life. And one of the greatest lessons I think that you have taught all of us is to give people more than they expected, to always do more than what is needed. And it's something that not only have I applied to government, but I've applied to my family, my life, and everywhere I've gone. And I think that your lessons has helped to make all of us better people. So you have left the city in good hands, and we're grateful for your leadership. Thank you.
I'm nothing to say.
Thanks, Dad.
Phil, you know, we're like brothers. Sorry, Joe. We're more like Charlie. Now, me and Phil known each other since I guess we were 5 years old. We were lifeguards together. We grew up together. We really grew up in the last 6 years together. It's with his wife Leanne. Anybody wants to get to Phil, you go through Leanne. You know, I learned that early on, and that was one of our best success stories that we had. First 2 years were rough. You know, that we were in the minority, and so in the last 4 years, I think we put the city in pretty good shape, and whatever you do, whatever you decide, you'll be great at it. I love you. Now get your stuff out of my office.
Andy, it's so funny because they say opposites, work well together. Andy is...
Oh, you got hair and I don't have hair, that's why we're opposite.
The office joke has been a long-standing one because I'm a little slow to move all that stuff out of there.
I cleaned it up, too.
I know. It's been accumulating over 28 years. But I do have to say, it's been one of the greatest honors of my life to serve as mayor of my hometown, to be involved in city council for 28 years. And my family's here tonight. My brother Joe and his wife Eileen and my sister Maureen and their husband Bill and of course my wife Leanne. And while I'm sitting here tonight knowing it's my last meeting, I thought back about, growing up here in Brigantine and this being such a wonderful community to live in as a child and to raise your family in and someday to retire in. And that I've enjoyed every phase of my life and felt a responsibility, hopefully, to provide that same opportunity and feeling for other people to enjoy this beautiful island and to enjoy this community. Kind of strange when I thought back today, being here for 28 years, our meeting started in the other part of City Hall where the fire department and the police department occupy now. We did this great addition a few years and renovation to City Hall and built this beautiful council chamber, but I figure I've attended over 600 meetings during that time, so that may be the key to why Leanne and I have been married for 36 years. But, without Leanne's support and obviously taking care of the home front and making sure that I made it to all those events and reminding me 6 times about what time it started and things of that nature, none of that would have been possible. But, I look back also, I think about all of the council members I've served with in the past, all of the great public safety, the chiefs and the members of their departments and public works, city managers and all the city employees. And I think about all the volunteers who have done what they've done to make this community great. And, it reminds me of You know, when President Reagan was leaving office in 1989, and part of his remarks, he mentioned that, you know, we did our part. And I think when I look back, when I look at everybody I served with, I can say that we did our part. We did our part to make our city what it is today. And I use the collective we because that's what it took. It took a tremendous effort by a group of people. And our city today is in great shape. This is a wonderful, wonderful city council. I've had such great memories of working with this group of people because everything is approached by one common denominator, and that is what's best for the city of Brigantine. And without that in mind, nothing else would have been possible, and the decisions that were made and the priorities that were set would not have been what they are. And I'm going to miss this group, but I can tell you the city of Brigantine is in great hands. With Andy coming in as mayor, you couldn't ask for somebody who is more dedicated to keeping our city moving forward in the future. And all the members of City Council serve, I think, with the same heart and the same soul that they want to be part of something that will continue on after they go and will be, without a doubt, a community that their children and they will enjoy, and that they'll have the type of services, as we saw tonight, that people really deserve and really have, without a doubt, people who care about them in their community. So it's been a wonderful, wonderful 28 years. I want to thank everyone for their support. And for the last time, I'm going to ask for a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Gavel. Hit the gavel one more time. Good night, everyone. Thank you for attending. God bless you. God bless Brigantine and America. Thank you for the award.